Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're diving headfirst into the world of an insect that has a reputation that truly precedes it. You've heard the stories, you've seen the movies, you've felt that little shiver of fear when you hear their name, killer bees. It's a name that conjures images of relentless, unstoppable swarms, a tiny terror that has captured the public imagination for decades. But like so many things in the wild, the reality is far more complex and fascinating than the legend. We're going to peel back the layers of myth, separating the Hollywood horror from the biological truth. Now, when we talk about killer bees, we're not talking about some new monstrous species that popped up out of nowhere. We're actually talking about Africanized honeybees. These bees look virtually identical to the gentle, familiar European honeybees, bees that pollinate our gardens and give us delicious honey. You can't tell them apart just by looking at one buzzing around a flower. Our story begins not in the wild, but inside a laboratory in Brazil. It was 1956. Scientists faced a major problem. European honeybees were the primary species used for honey worldwide, but they were not faring well in tropical South America. They struggled with the heat, they were susceptible to local diseases and low honey yields. Warwick E. Kerr was tasked with finding a solution. He proposed crossbreeding European bees with a hardier African subspecies, Apis mellifera scutellata. Dr. Kerr traveled to Africa and returned with queens from Tanzania and South Africa. These African bees were famed for their resilience, tireless work ethic, and high honey output in the tropics. Initial experiments near Sao Paulo were promising. The hybrids were fantastic honey producers, but nature had other plans. A small act, monumental consequences. Once free, the escaped Africanized honeybees didn't just survive, they thrived. The Brazilian countryside, tropical climate and abundant flora, was a paradise for them. They were far better suited to this environment than the established European bees. They quickly began to outcompete and interbreed with local bee populations, a process known as hybridization. The African genes for defensiveness and swarming proved dominant. Within a few short years, a vast, expanding population had established itself across Brazil. The Africanized bees began to expand their territory at an astonishing rate, 200 to 300 miles per year. They swept through the Amazon basin, across Venezuela and Colombia, and into Central America. Nothing seemed to slow them down. Their ability to establish new colonies quickly, a behavior called absconding, let them relocate when resources were scarce, a trait less common in their European cousins, who tend to stick it out. By the mid-1980s, they reached Mexico, and scientists set up monitoring stations as they approached the United States. In October 1990, the first natural colony was identified in Hidalgo, Texas. From there, they spread into Arizona, New Mexico, California, along the Gulf Coast, and into Florida. Colder winters slowed further northward expansion. They do not tolerate severe cold well. So what exactly earns these bees the fearsome killer moniker? First, let's be clear. The venom of a single Africanized honeybee is no more potent than that of a European honeybee. A single sting from either bee feels about the same. The danger is not the venom's quality, but the quantity of stings. The key is their incredibly heightened defensive response. They perceive a much larger defense zone around their hive. A person walking within 100 feet of a colony can trigger them. A lawnmower's vibration 50 yards away can be perceived as an attack. That perception triggers a massive, instantaneous response. Hundreds, even thousands of bees. They are relentless. They will pursue a perceived threat for a quarter mile or more. They also target the face and airways, eyes, nose, mouth. This defensiveness evolved in Africa, where predators like honey badgers and human hive raids made swift defense a survival advantage. So while killer bee is an exaggeration, their behavior is uniquely dangerous and must be respected. Beyond their dramatic defensive behavior, the day-to-day life of an Africanized colony is remarkably different from a European hive. One defining characteristic: they swarm more frequently. European bees typically swarm once a year. Africanized may swarm multiple times a year. Their nesting choices are far less picky. They are opportunistic survivalists. Water meter boxes, old tires, overturned flower pots, hollow walls, even discarded furniture. This adaptability lets them thrive in urban and suburban areas. Another key difference is their approach to resource management. European bees are planners. Africanized live more in the moment and prioritize raising brood. They store less honey, swarm more, and will abscond if disturbed. They simply pack up and move. Whereas a European colony will try to tough it out through winter. These behaviors create a bee that is a master of survival in warm climates. They are more like guerrilla colonists than settled farmers. While an ecological success story, it presents unique challenges for people. The stories of encounters with Africanized honeybees range from the terrifying to the astonishing. One well-documented incident occurred in Texas. A man clearing brush disturbed a massive colony nesting in an old woodpile. Vibration triggered an all-out assault. He was swarmed by thousands of bees and dove into a pond to escape. But each time he surfaced for air, the bees were waiting. He was stung over 500 times but survived. Swift medical attention made the difference. Farmers and ranchers in the American Southwest have had to adapt. Stories of livestock falling victim to massive swarm attacks are sadly common. A colony in a hollowed-out cactus repeatedly attacked a rancher's herd. Researchers learned to take incredible precautions, moving slowly, avoiding exhaling toward the hive. They wear thick bee suits, tape wrists and ankles, and report being constantly pinged by guard bees. The common thread is unintentional disturbance of a colony. Hidden hives can be anywhere. The bees are defending their home with an intensity that is hard to comprehend. The arrival and spread of Africanized bees have had a complex impact on the environment. One immediate effect was on the beekeeping industry. Predictable, gentle European bees were replaced by unpredictable defenders. Beekeepers invested in more protective gear, learned new techniques, and many hobbyists left the business. Ecologically, Africanized bees are effective competitors. Aggressive foraging can displace native pollinators. Their dominance can disrupt native bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. At the same time, they are excellent pollinators, a benefit to agriculture. Interestingly, hybridization at the northern edges has slowly tempered extreme behaviors over time. Today, bees in places like Arizona are on average slightly less aggressive than the first waves. It's a story of trade-offs, robust pollinators versus public safety risks. Their genetic hardiness and resistance to pests like varroa mites make them valuable to scientists. Studying them helps with breeding resilient bees and addressing the global pollinator crisis. Now, for the most important part, what should you do if you ever find yourself in the path of these insects? The key to safety is understanding their behavior and having a plan. Be aware of your surroundings and avoid disturbing a colony in the first place. Look for bees entering and exiting a single spot, a hole in a tree, an opening in a wall, or an overturned pot. If you see this, calmly leave the area. If bees start to come after you, run in a straight line. Do not stand still or swat at them. Protect your head and face. Pull your shirt up over your head or use your arms to cover your face. Bees are drawn to the carbon dioxide you exhale and will target mouth and nose. Do not jump into water. Bees will wait for you to surface. Once safe, remove stingers promptly. Scrape them with a credit card or fingernail. Do not pinch with tweezers. If you have many stings or symptoms like difficulty breathing, dizziness, or swelling of the face or tongue, seek medical attention immediately. As we've seen today, the story of the Africanized honeybee is far more than the killer bee headlines. It's a tale of unintended consequences, incredible adaptation, and raw survival. These bees are not monsters, they are a testament to evolution. Teach children to respect bees and give them space. Their genetic hardiness and resistance to pests make them crucial for research and breeding resilient bees. They are not just a threat, they could be part of the solution to the global pollinator crisis. Nature is full of amazing stories. This is one of them. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into our amazing natural world. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next expedition.